Hi everyone, welcome to the very first Inky List live masterclass. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We are really excited to be here. Tonight we're going to be talking through a range of Inky products that can be used to help treat acne and blemish prone skin. My name is Tom and I'm part of the Ask Inky team. If you don't know what that means or what that is, don't worry because I'm going to tell you all about it. Ask Inkey is part of the Inky List. The Inky List is a brand that is dedicated to leading with ingredients and knowledge. And the Ask Inky team is the team behind who you speak to. So if you come onto Instagram, onto Facebook, onto our live chats, or even via our coaching, which is a new service that we're offering, you will be speaking to us. And we are going to help you to achieve your skincare goals and feel really confident in your skin. At least that's our goal. So we've got a really fantastic live masterclass coming up this evening. And as I say, we're going to be focusing on supporting blemish prone skin, as well as plenty of opportunities for you to ask your questions about your unique skin needs. We're going to have two Q&As coming up. So please get your questions coming in. But before we get onto that, we have an extremely special guest joining us this evening who I'm personally so excited about. She is an expert on all things skin. I would like to introduce you all to the wonderful skin doctor and content creator, Dr. Zion.
Hi. Hi,
Hello.
Tom.
It's so nice to see you.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here with the Inky List and talk about some of our favorite skincare products.
Thank you so much for joining us. We are literally so excited to have you. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. It's sunny and afternoon here. What time is it over there?
Oh, so over here it's in the evening, so it's 7 p.m. in the evening, and it's a bit
Yeah.
grey and a bit cold. So yeah, we all need some sunshine in our life, I think. So if you could send some our way, that would be great. It's an absolute pleasure to have you joining us this evening. So guys, tonight, Dr. Zine is going to be talking us through how to narrow down the great range of Inky products. We've got lots of products here that we're going to be talking you through today. And it's going to help you to tackle acne, breakouts, and all-round blemish-prone skin, which is really exciting. I think it's something that we can actually all relate to. And it's important to make sure that you're making the right choices when it comes to supporting your skin, so that one, kind of you're not harming it, so you're not doing damage. But two, like I always find that my skin changes throughout different seasons. Would you agree?
Oh, I would definitely agree. For me, it kind of changes almost daily. And then, for females, the hormones also add a bit of a mix to like a monthly issue too. So yeah,
Right.
definitely agreed.
Yeah, so we're definitely going to be able to start tackling some of our concerns tonight. And all of the products that we're going to use tonight will be available to buy on the INKEY website. So if you see something that you love, please don't hesitate to grab it and put it in your basket because you're going to absolutely love it. Um, so what we're going to do, considering the event tonight is all about education around skincare, we want to give you all watching at home the opportunity to ask your own questions about your skin. This is for you. So we really want you to get in there with your questions and ask us whatever you want. So please, please, please get asking in the comments so that we can answer some of the questions. I can actually already see that there is a few questions coming through already. You guys are so fast. I love this. Let's go. So, okay, this is from Lucy Rigby, and they have said, what are the best products for dealing with acne when you have dry skin? Excellent. So, what we find is if the skin is a little bit dry, you ideally want to be using a good cleanser to make sure that you're cleansing the skin thoroughly. One of my personal favourites actually is the salicylic acid cleanser. I've got that here.
Oh, it's
We're
such
going
a
to
good
be,
one.
it's so, so good. We're going to be talking about this a little bit later as well, guys, for the masterclass. But in terms of dry skin, what do you think, Dr. Zion? what do we want to make sure that we're doing so that we can help treat the acne, but without irritating our dry skin?
Yeah. It's quite unfortunate because I think, majority of the ingredients that we will talk about to help combat acne is actually extremely drying at times. And so what I always tell, anyone, including my patients going in, is it's not really about the change in the ingredient or change in the product. It's mostly about changing the frequency, maybe even changing the potency. Meaning, you may just need to do it less frequently than someone who have oily skin, or you know,
Mm.
look for potency that's just less strong. Doesn't always mean it's not going to work. So that's the best approach. And then we're kind of going to go into this a little bit later, but this is a, thing that we use all the time in medicine. It's called short-term contact therapy, short contact therapy. So if you are trying to use a product and you're like, I cannot tolerate this at all, you can actually put on these products for like 5 to 20 minutes and wash it off, and you'll still have
Mm.
some effects of that formula without the irritating, side effect.
Wow, that is interesting. I actually didn't know that. That is a really, really good
Yeah,
point. And that I think that's why I personally also love the salicylic acid cleanser because it's in cleanser form, you are actually rinsing it off. So a lot of the questions
exactly,
that we get asked is, oh, is it going to be okay sort of for sensitive skin? But it goes hand in hand with kind of what you've said, because you're going to rinse it off, you're, less likely to have the irritation, but you're actually getting in um the good effects of it as well.
exactly.
Love that. So let's go on to the next question. So, what are the best cleansers to use for acne? Wow, absolutely, this one. So, it's all about this at the moment. So, it really is absolutely fabulous. It is going to help reduce blackheads and breakouts for you.
Mhm.
It's actually available on the Inkey's website now for only 10.99. So it really is fabulous. And as Dr. Zion said, you can absolutely get the potency. Look for the potency. Work out if your skin is slightly drier, like Lucy's a moment ago. You don't necessarily need to leave it on. You can rinse it off. It's really good. That was from Holly Fitzpatrick. Thank you so much for that question, Holly. Let's see what else we've got. Okay, so Alana Brown says, how do I layer active ingredients to tackle acne? Great question. Um, so I don't know what you think, Dr. Zion, but I'm always a little bit nervous about layering because I know there's lots
Mhm.
of rules around layering, and particularly if you're sensitive like me, you want to make sure that you're layering in the right way. So,
Yeah,
what's your opinion on that?
yeah. So I think layering in general is very, very much a confusing topic, just from like the general scope of like what to even do. And we're going to go through this routine shortly in this masterclass. But if you're new to skincare, so a skincare virgin, you know, layering on too many actives at once is going to be disastrous. So stick with one, see how you do. Usually say give it about 3 weeks or so before adding on another active. Part of that is because
Mm.
if you have any issues and you put on all let's say three ingredients in one routine, you're not going to know what caused that, right? You may be even allergic to one of the ingredients, and then now you're going to have to say you're allergic to all three. So add in one at a time, be able to you and then the good thing is you actually have morning and night. So split these ingredients into AM and PM routine, and then make sure you're
Okay,
always good with sunscreen as well, because a lot of these can be sensitizing to the sun exposure.
I love that. And that again goes hand in hand with what you said a moment ago about with the potency. If you are concerned, you could perhaps use your active, but then rinse it off if you were worried about
Hmm.
that. So I
Exactly. Yep.
love it. Amazing question, guys. That's really, really good. I think we've got time for one more. Let's see what we've got. So we've got one from Ronnie Anderson. They have said the best ingredients to reduce redness. Love that one. So I know that at the Inky list we've got a fair few actually, a couple of new products. Our Magic Acid mask our glucoside serum. But one of my favorites, I don't know what you think, Dr. Simon, but one of my
Mhm,
personal favorites is the niacinamide.
mhm.
um, because I find that, and I do like to use an active, but I am sensitive. So I find that with some actives, like retinol, I actually like to use my niacinamide first because I find that it helps calm any irritation that I'm going to get. What do you think?
No, I definitely agree. And niacinamide, it's a unique ingredient because it has the effects of helping with oil, um, getting rid of oil. And so for patients who are oil prone, it can help with that. But then that's kind of what it's known for. But it actually has a great anti-inflammatory effect. So when we think redness, we need to at least first look at the triggers, right? What is triggering that redness? Try to
Mm,
avoid them. Sometimes it's even food, sometimes it's sun exposure. So try to avoid the triggers to reduce that
okay.
inflammation in general. I would say, whenever I talk about skincare, you're going to keep seeing me go to kind of lifestyle and holistic ways to approach it because I feel like skincare is just a component of it, right?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but yeah,
That's
no,
such a good
I
tip,
love
though.
niacinamide. Yeah.
And to kind of rule things out, that's such a good way of looking at it because sometimes, I mean, I've been there myself. Like you can use so much and you think, oh, what is, what else do I need? But actually, it can sometimes be down to, as you say, food or something else. So it's good to rule out all scenarios. But yeah, niacinamide for me
Yep.
is an absolute brilliant one, Moni. I think you might like that one.
Yeah,
um,
that's a good one.
Amazing. So thank you all so much for your questions. For those of you that are just joining us now, welcome to the very first INKEY Masterclass live series. I'm Tom. I'm part of the Ask INKEY team. I'm one of the people that you speak to when you DM us on Instagram or speak to us through Facebook or through live chat. Some of the time you might be talking to me. Maybe we've already spoken. Who knows? This is the amazing Dr. Zion, who is a board certified internal medicine doctor, who we're so excited to have here. And tonight we're going to be discussing how to use the INKEY products to help with acne and blemish prone skin. We've just had a small Q&A, but don't worry if your question didn't get answered this time round, because we will be having another right after the masterclass. So make sure you stick around and you can be adding in your questions as we go along about your skin, whatever they are, because then we'll be thrilled to answer them in the next part as well. But we are going to get down to business now, and we're going to start with the masterclass. So, as I've mentioned, the wonderful Dr. Zion will be talking us through the perfect skincare routine for anybody that's wanting to tackle blemish prone skin or just, otherwise kind of tricky skin that just won't play
Mhm.
game in the way that we want it to. Um, and here at the Inky List, I'm going to talk you through how we lay out our routine. So it's a 5-step skincare routine that goes cleanse, hydrate, treat, moisturize, and SPF for your AM use. SPF is really important, which will definitely, I'm sure Dr. Zion will want to tell us about that
Oh,
as
yes.
well as we go through. um, and the really interesting thing, this routine that we've got, and that this kind of way of using the products at the Inky List, it is a structure that works really, really well for kind of every skin type, every concern. You just need to make sure that you're adapting the products to suit your goals and what you want. And obviously, every skin is different. So you want to make sure that you find the product that is going to support your skin in the way that you need it to. Um, which is exactly what we're going to be talking through tonight. Um, so we're going to utilize the structure to show you tonight the perfect combination for Inky. So let's get started. Some of the products that we're going to be using through, I'm going to show you each one as we go through so that you can get an idea. I'm going to show you the textures, how we use them, etc. So let's start off with step 1, which, as I mentioned, is called cleanse. So this is where we're going to be thoroughly cleansing our skin. And I am going to be showing you the salicylic acid cleanser, which if you were here earlier, you will have heard us both talking about very much, which is very exciting. So, Dr. Zion, tell us about how this will work for our skin. Tell us about how this is good.
Yeah. So salicylic acid, and actually zinc, there's a combination of zinc here, kind of work together to unclog pores, which in hand reduces the appearance of pores and then also reduces the risk of new breakouts. Basically, the easiest way to think about it is what is breakout, what is blackheads, right? It's clogged up junk that it's
Mm,
in, your little pores that shouldn't be there. So as long as you're cleaning them out regularly, you shouldn't really get new breakouts. And so the
okay.
goal is to, do this regularly to keep them clean, which then should help with new breakouts and things. And also, salicylic acid and the zinc combination helps with mopping up that excess oil off the surface.
Okay, so to almost give you
Yeah,
that kind of clean surface to work with.
exactly.
I must
Exactly.
admit, after putting that on my hand, and just moving it around, it spreads really easily, everyone. It really kind of goes on beautifully. You could kind of see that it came out clear. I was kind of spreading it onto the hand, and then I just got some water and just kind of added that on and then rinsed off. And I must admit, it's feeling really clean, but not tight and
Hmm.
uncomfortable, you know? It just feels
Yeah.
clean. And what do you think about double cleansing? Is that something that you recommend?
Oh, I love double cleansing. I think, as a Korean, I feel like I've been doing it forever and now it's like picking up steam here. But
Yeah.
it's not for everyone. If you don't enjoy cleansing, that's,
Mhm.
skincare is not something you enjoy, versus you don't wear any makeup. Maybe all you're putting on is sunscreen. Is double cleansing really something that you need? I would say no. But if by any chance you're wearing makeup, you've been doubling down on sunscreen every 2 hours, it'd be really helpful. Part of that is a lot of things we put on our face is oil-based. So oil-based things will be erased by oil-based cleansers. So that
So oil, like,
popular,
removes oil.
exactly, oil removes oil. So what's that
Mm.
popular? The O cleansing balm would be a great one to be the step one. And then
Amazing.
a water-based cleanser would come afterwards, and a salicylic acid cleanser would be a great one. Um, yeah, and you don't have to
Yeah.
use this one every time you wash, just especially if you have dry skin, it can be a little bit drying. So just kind of use as tolerated.
Amazing, and I like your tip of using the oat cleansing balm first. I am so gonna do that. That is absolutely brilliant
Yeah.
because it does, like,
Yeah.
you sometimes you want something that I do wear, a little bit of makeup myself, and I find that I want to remove that, like, I want to get it off, but
Hmm.
I'm also I am the person that you described. I am somebody that doesn't really enjoy cleansing, like, I'm like,
Hmm.
"Oh,
Hmm.
can I be bothered to do this tonight?" So actually,
Yeah.
if I could go in, get something that's gonna remove it quite quickly, like the oat cleansing balm, and then just do my thorough cleanse with the salicylic,
Yeah.
um, I think my cleansing regime, you've nailed it.
Yeah. I mean, the key is these balms and oil-based cleansers are so good at melting away makeup that I think it'll actually
Mm.
save you time.
I see. Oh, that is
Yeah.
so, so good. I love that. And all of these products, guys, they're all available to buy on the English website right now. So you can absolutely do that. And hopefully that's given you a little bit of an understanding around double cleansing as well. I really actually appreciate, Dr. Simon, that you've said that, if you feel that perhaps you don't need to double cleanse, like you can kind of build your routine around what you feel you need. And if you're not really using loads and loads of makeup, then you might feel that you only need to do one. It's very interesting, I like it.
Yeah. Gotta customize your skincare too. I guess I always say skincare is not one size fits all, right?
Yeah, so true. I've not heard that before somehow, but I love that. That's
Oh,
so, so
yeah.
true. Yeah, because you wanna
Yeah.
almost because it should be tailor-made for you, shouldn't it?
Exactly.
Which is
Exactly.
exactly what our AskINKEY team tries to do because we try and tailor and coach you into understanding what is gonna be the right products for you. And our coaching service that we've got, which you can find out more about on our website, is we're able to almost support you through your skincare routine over a course of a few weeks. And that really gives us an understanding of how you're using the products, how they're working for you. It gives you an opportunity to also, give us feedback directly. So
Mhm.
it's really exciting. Okay, so step two is known as hydrate. Now, for me, this is like my step that I love because I am a little bit dehydrated most of the time.
Mhm. Oh, me too. Me too.
So tell us about this step.
Yeah. So hydrate is so important. I think there is a huge misconception that, especially if you have oily skin, that you do not need to be hydrated. And I want to say that is definitely a myth. Um,
Mhm.
you know, Oil and water are two very different things. So you can still have oily skin and dehydrated skin. And, actually, funny thing, it seems contradictory, but if you have very oily skin, by hydrating your skin, you may see that your oil production decreases. Some of that is because
Mm.
your skin kind of goes into overdrive when your skin is dry and then
Mhm.
overproduces oil to try to make up for
Mhm.
that. So you might see that that gets better when you use a moisturizer or like hydrate your skin. But this is absolutely one of my favorite. I talk about this on my channel all the time.
The hyaluronic
Um,
acid is amazing, guys. It is one of
so
my
good.
favorite products. It's really
So
amazing.
good.
I've seen you talking about it loads, so I'm like, "Yay, she loves it as well."
Yeah. Yeah. The idea is that it's a humectant, so it tracks
Mhm.
water and hydrates the skin, but without the oiliness. So I would say this is honestly the best one for anyone who has oily skin type.
Okay, and this goes with exactly what you've just said, because obviously, if our sebaceous glands in the skin are overproducing oil to
Mhm.
make up for the fact that maybe the skin on the surface is a little bit dry, this is going to give you that hydration, which I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess will almost trick those sebaceous glands into thinking, well, we don't need to produce so much oil because hyaluronic acid showed up to the party.
Exactly, exactly. Oh, I actually wanted to mention this. This is a huge pro tip. So make sure you're using hyaluronic acid on damp skin. That's very, very important. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
amazing. And why is that? Tell us why.
yeah. So it's a humectant, right? So it attracts water. And if you're putting it on dry skin, just theoretically think with me,
Hmm.
there's a chance that your hyaluronic acid that you're putting on maybe bringing moisture away from your skin, from the inside of your skin versus from the
Oh,
environment.
of
So
course, because it's going to basically get the moisture from where it can. So it's going to go and get the moisture from
exactly,
there.
exactly. So you wanna make sure you have damp skin before putting on hyaluronic acid, and then it'll bring moisture from the environment on.
I love that. So you almost then
Yeah.
that's excellent because you're right. It's sometimes as it is a humectant, it can hold so much water. If you haven't got a damp skin, it will be thinking, well, where's the water? And then it will look and come. It will come for your skin.
Yeah,
That's an amazing tip.
exactly.
I love that. I'm sure there's lots of people at home taking note of that one. It's a very, very good one. Um, Really nice. And I must admit, it feels really nice. Something I really, really like, for everyone watching at home, is it has gone into my skin. So if you are oily, you're not going to be feeling like it's an extra layer that you can't cope with. It's
Mhm.
gone. Like it has literally
Yeah.
just gone into my skin, which I'm really happy about because it will give me that hydration, but it means that I can then layer with other products if I want to
Yes.
um, as well. Um, so what I also find is that it's really amazing for all skin types. Um, so for the AskINKEY team are always saying that this basically should be in everyone's routine because we all need hydration. Oily, dry, as Dr. Zion has said, we want to make sure that we, have that hydration so that our sebaceous glands aren't overproducing the oil. Um, it's one of our best sellers, this product actually.
Oh, really?
It's
That makes sense.
Yeah. Do you know we've actually got one being sold every 30 seconds?
Oh,
which is amazing.
wow.
So whilst we've been sat here, like somebody is there with it in their basket and they're like, "Oh, gonna get some hyaluronic acid."
And
Um,
also, like, I have to say, the price is just it's crazy for what you're getting, you know? You
yeah.
really don't need to be spending, like, crazy amount of money on hyaluronic acid. I will say
And
that.
is that true? Do you not?
You really don't. I think skincare in general, are there, skincare products that I would consider worth the splurge? Yes, and I talk about them on my channels as I'm doing product reviews, but expensive skincare does not always mean better skincare. It's all about, marketing, and I'm not even gonna go into that. But anyways, this bottle to me, it gets the job done for its price. It's hands
It's
down,
so
definitely one of my I would say one of my, like, maybe my favorite hyaluronic acid serum.
it's so good. And in the
Yeah,
UK price of this, I know is £5.99 for this one. So I believe that's
okay.
going to be like $7.99 perhaps. I'm trying to
Yeah,
do all of my conversions now in my mind, but it's a really, really good price point.
yeah.
So it's definitely worth checking out, guys. You can look on our website, look under your region, and it will show you your price for where you are as well, which is really good. So, step three, another exciting
Mm,
one. And this actually leads back to one of the questions that was asked earlier. And that was about layering and how we layer in this step. So, step three is known as treatment. So, this is personally one of my favorites again, because it's where you really get to personalize your routine to suit you. So cleansing and hydrating is super important, in every skincare routine. But in the treatment step, this is where you're going to really kind of hone in to what your unique skin needs. It's a way of incorporating products to get the results that you want, to meet your skincare goals. So we're going to
okay.
be showing you a few of our favorite INKEY List products, specifically for blemish prone skin. Now, some of them you can't actually layer on top of each other, but we're
Mhm.
going to kind of break that down for you so that we know. Um, but before we do that, if you are just joining us now, because I've seen that a few of you have just come in, I'm Tom, and I'm part of the Ask Inky team, and you're joining us, and this is the wonderful Dr. Zion, and this is our first ever Inky live stream masterclass. We're just in the middle of taking you through a regime. We've just gone through cleansing with our salicylic acid cleanser, and then hydrating with our hyaluronic acid as well. And now we are taking on to step three, which is treatment. So, where to begin? Perhaps let's start, Dr. Sion. One, because I've actually had a breakout, and
No,
two,
actually, me
because,
too.
oh, have you? I'm so glad it's
Yeah.
not just me.
I know,
I
I'm
can't
with
see it on
you.
you. We're in this
It might
together.
I don't yeah, no, it's here.
Your skin looks amazing. I'm like, I can't see any breakout there. But so let's start then with the succinic acid blemish treatment. Um,
Okay.
so talk us through succinic acid. This is something that I must admit people ask a lot of questions about because they've not really
Mhm,
heard of succinic acid. So what
mhm.
what does that do? How does it work?
Yeah. So that's interesting because succinic acid is actually a very new ingredient. If you go to evidence-based medicine and PubMed and places that physicians go to for like evidence-based medicines, there's not that many studies, but and so more studies are to come, but it looks extremely promising. Really, the benefits include hydration, antimicrobial, and anti-inflammatory effects, and it looks like it's actually able to get really deep into the skin. So it's thought to be even helpful for like even cystic acne,
Oh, okay.
those deep acnes. Yeah.
Mm. That's interesting. It's because the thing that excites me about this is I feel like there aren't that many succinic acid treatments that I've heard of. So
Yeah.
this really it really gets me excited because I'm like, this is what we want. And so I'm just gonna actually put it on to my blemish that is here on the side of my head. It's decided it wants to
Oh,
join.
that's a
And
common area for me too.
is it? I'm like,
Yeah,
why
and
do they
maybe
always
from, like,
choose
the
kit?
oil from, like, the hair follicles? Could be,
Ah,
yeah.
okay. And I do wear quite a lot of hats as well, so I wonder if perhaps, yeah,
Yeah,
where the hat is maybe
yeah.
doing, but it needs to not be there.
Okay. Well, while you're using that, um, I just wanted to say I particularly like this treatment because it also contains, I think, 2% sulfur powder, which is really good at absorbing that excess oil and unclogging
Mm.
pores. And then also has salicylic acid, which, you can gently exfoliate the skin and then reduce all that dead skin cell buildup that shouldn't be there. So it's really
Oh,
a
that's
powerhouse
really good.
ingredient. Yeah.
This is so, so good to know. And it's, I must admit, we this is one of the products that we get asked quite a lot of questions about. Something that I always say is layering with this. So, personally, we recommend that if you are using this and you're using other actives in the routine, make sure that when you're applying the other actives, you're avoiding the area that you've applied this onto, purely because you don't want to overdo it with your actives. Like we said earlier, if you're using actives, you can, check the potency. As Dr. Zion said, it doesn't necessarily mean because it's really, really strong that it's going to be really, really good for you. It
Mhm.
might be that actually something a little bit weaker might actually give you a better result long term. So would you agree with that about using it in that way?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It says, like, you can use it up to 3 times a day. I saw that for
Mm,
me, it was probably, like, 2 times a day. Part of that is
nice.
I have such dry and sensitive skin, but it worked. Like, even with less frequency, it was able to dry that up.
You were able to get it. I must admit,
Yeah.
you excite me because I really love the fact that you say you don't necessarily need to do everything. I remember when I first joined the skincare industry, which was like about 11 years ago now, and I just wanted everything. I wanted to put everything on my face. Like
Mhm.
literally, I would get those like gift sets that you can get from like brands, and I would just use everything.
Oh, yeah.
But now I've learned that actually, as you said, it's like getting that kind of
Yeah.
tailor-made skincare, which gives you that really, really nice result. Um, okay, so next up in the treat step, so that's the succinic acid blemish treatment, guys. We've then also got in the treat step two that we're going to talk about. First is the beta hydroxy acid, which some of you might
Mm.
know as BHA. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So this is good for a lot of reasons. So let's about targeting a specific blemish, but really overall skin tone and texture. Part of that is because BHA is oil soluble. So being
Mm.
being oil soluble just means they can get deeper into that skin, soften up all that junk keratin buildup that's there versus sister alpha hydroxy acids that we know that are like glycolic acid, lactic acid. They work on the surface of the skin because they're water soluble. So I would say that's
Okay.
really the biggest difference when we talk about BHA, AHA. I know that can be a little confusing
It can
sometimes.
be confusing, yeah, and
Yeah,
that's something that we always get asked on AskINKEY is, what's the difference? Which one's going to work better for me? So that would be the
exactly.
answer.
Yeah. Yeah. They both
That's
have
really interesting.
roles, and really good at texture and tone in general, but this baby really gets in there.
Love that. And how long do you think we want to be using something like this before we're going to be seeing a noticeable result? How long do we want to allow?
So, I don't know if I got that. Are you asking how long it would take for us to see visible results?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
With using a BHA, how long do you think
Yeah.
usually it would take?
I would say, I always say to my I'm calling everyone patients, but like for my viewers and everyone here that, try to give your skincare product at least about 3 months to, before you say, okay, this is not working for me at all. Sometimes it can
Yeah.
take 6 to 9 months depending on what kind of skincare product you're using for what concern. But BHA,
Mm.
I would say you'll probably notice it even sooner. Um, I mean, even the
But it's
morning
so
you
nice
may
to know that
yeah, when you wake up, you may even be like, am I glowing a little more
Is
today?
that a little glow that I can see right there? But that's good.
Exactly.
It's good to know to persevere as well, because that's something that I always say. It's like, you really want to be able to persevere and keep going with something.
Mhm.
But I must admit, when I first started using this, I did notice a difference, relatively quickly. I was like, wow, that's
Yeah,
really starting to work.
yeah.
It's so similar. By the way, we are so all happy to be your patients. We are here. I'm sure everyone agrees with
Okay.
me. I will happily be your patient whenever.
Okay.
We love learning the education from you. It's exactly what we want.
Oh,
So
thank
okay,
you.
so niacinamide,
Oh,
niacinamide.
yeah.
What do we think about this one? Because this is the other treatment step. Am
Yeah.
I right in thinking with those two, you might want to use them alternatively in the routine? So, say for instance, the BHA at night and the niacinamide in the day.
I love that. Yes. I think,
Yeah.
even though I would consider niacinamide to be more of a gentle, formulation compared to the BHA, I would recommend splitting them into 2 different routines. Yep.
Great. Okay. And why is that? Is
Yeah.
that just because it might be if you're going to go out in the sun, it might be kind of sensitizing to the skin.
Yeah, especially the BHA can be somewhat sensitizing, and then, once you start layering on different actives, it can work sometimes synergistically, meaning 1
Okay.
plus 1 equals 4 instead of 2,
Mm,
and that sounds good, right? You're like, "Oh, wow, that can be better results," but that can also come with, like, the caveat of ruining your barrier, which then you have to fix that, which takes days to weeks. So it's just not worth
mm.
it. For someone with very oily skin, I will say you'll be able to tolerate um, more of these combinations than someone with dry skin.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's really really good. That because that's something that we get asked quite a bit as well with the different kind of skin types. Like what can I tolerate and what can I not? So that's
Hmm.
really interesting. Um,
Yeah.
And niacinamide, obviously, I know that it's a really nice serum to kind of add to any like routine.
Hmm.
It's really something I really like about it is it's very kind of gentle and thin. I'll see if I can show you guys the texture now because it really is um, quite thin and goes into to the skin really quickly,
Yeah.
which I
That's
love.
nice. Yeah. Some niacinamide serums that I've used in the past can be like very tacky and sticky.
Mm.
Have you used those before?
Yeah,
And
I've had those, and I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
and
I don't know
those
what to
can be a
do.
little, yeah, and then they can make me peel later, and you're like, oh,
Mm.
did all this routine, now I'm peeling. But yeah, I haven't had issues with this.
No, I find that this one is actually really, really nice. And
Yes.
it kind of just goes kind of straight in, as I say, to the skin. Like there isn't kind of that
Hmm.
stickiness. I've definitely experienced that before with some niacinamides. They're really, really sticky. I don't
Yeah.
know why, but they are.
Yeah, I know. Not sure.
It's
Not
so
sure what
random.
in it makes it like that.
I know. It's
Um,
like what is going on?
And I
Um,
do say, if I I seem to either a pregnant population is very vocal or a lot of my
mhm.
followers are pregnant. It could be either or. But I do say niacinamide is safe for a woman in pregnancy. Obviously check with OB for final recommendations. This is just guidance and having fun here. But I know that question is also common. What can I
That
use?
comes in so
Um,
often. And what can I
yeah,
use, particularly with the treatment step and with actives? It's like what
exactly.
can I use? I mean, we've our bakuchiol, we say is pregnancy safe as well. And that's a really good kind of pregnancy safe alternative to retinol.
Mhm.
And obviously you can use that in the day and at night. So that's really nice. But it's something that we get asked all the time. So that's really good to know about niacinamide.
Yeah.
And I because we always say like you can absolutely check with your doctor prior to using, but like that's really lovely to know because it's such a nice product and it helps with redness, which is what's so. Why does it help with
Mhm.
redness? Why does it what does it do? Is it just anti-inflammatory?
What does it Sorry, I couldn't understand your question.
Nice. So with the niacinamide, why does it help with redness? What does it do for the redness? Does it just calm it?
Oh, the redness. Oh, sorry. I
Yeah.
thought you said retin-A. I was like,
Re-
I'm gonna have to get back to you on that.
You're like, I'm not sure
For
about that. Let me
redness,
just check.
it's the anti-inflammatory effect of the nicotinamide, which is actually the other form of the active form of niacin, which is vitamin B3. So you might hear all those words, but they all mean the same thing, niacinamide, but it's the anti-inflammatory effect. And what's actually interesting is there was a study done, gonna get nerdy, that looked at the benefits of niacinamide versus clindamycin, which is a antibiotic that we prescribe for acne at
Oh,
times, and we saw very similar results. So,
oh, that's really interesting.
yeah,
There you
so
go, guys.
definitely
This is where
have
you're
an
getting the
anti
tips.
yeah, the anti-inflammatory effects.
Oh, I love that. Well, yeah, so that's definitely one of my favorites. That's going to be staying in my routine, firmly in my routine.
Mhm,
I think this is a good one for everybody to try. So that's the treatment step, which is where, as I said, you can get really kind of personal with what you're looking for. You can really kind of tailor the products to suit what your goals are and how you want to kind of fix them. So, step four is on to moisturize. So, again, another one of my favorites because my skin is a little bit dry. But I feel like sometimes, in my opinion, moisturizer is underestimated. I feel like people just say, oh, like they're focused on their actives and etc. But then moisturizer just kind of comes on top and that's it. But it's tell us a little bit
mhm.
more about today we're going to use the vitamin B, C, and E moisturizer, which is a really good all-rounder to just give you that kind of nice, healthy kind of moisturized skin. So tell us a little bit about that, Dr. Zion.
Yeah, I think moisturizing, like you said, is very underrated, but to me,
Mm,
it's like one of the most like important step because you did all that, you spent your money, your hardworking money, you put all your serums on. You got to lock that in. You got to seal all that in.
mm,
And the
mm.
moisturizer is going to help you do that. It's a thicker, usually a thicker formulation compared to serums. It's going to help seal in every all the goodness that you've already put on your skin. And dry skin, my mom used to always say, dry skin is wrinkly skin.
Ah,
Dehydrated skin, I should say, is wrinkly skin. You never want your skin ever to be tight, dry, dehydrated. That in itself leads to acne, blemish prone skin, breakouts, barrier issues, just lots of skincare concerns we often complain about. So, this is an easy step, I would say, to really combat all that.
I love that. And do you know, it's so funny that mums always know best, don't they? My mum has always
They
said the
really
same
do.
thing about moisturizer. She's like, this is what you need. And yeah,
Yeah.
remember as a little boy, that's what I was using was my mum's moisturizer from the cupboard. I'm not sure if she actually
Oh, I
knows
love
that,
that.
but she will
Oh,
now.
I
So
wish my brother would do that.
I will. We can make it like a
Growing up, I
game.
mean, he wouldn't even wear sunscreen. It, like, really bothered her, but I think he's getting better
Oh, I love
at
that. I love that. And
it.
then obviously because it's the reason I'm not trying any SPF now, guys, is because we're doing kind of like a nighttime routine. But
Mhm.
SPF, as we said, is super, super important to be using in the routine, particularly if you're using actives, because you want to make sure that you are protecting your skin from the sun, and some actives can absolutely affect the skincare um affect your skin if you're not using SPF and you're going out into the sun. So
Yeah.
that's an important one to remember. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go on to that's actually the full routine put together. We will recap the products at the end for you of what we've used in case you're looking to purchase them. But we are now going to go on to a slightly longer Q&A. And if you're joining us now, if you've just joined now, welcome to the Inky Live Masterclass. We've just gone through a full routine. My name's Tom, and I'm with the lovely Dr. Zion. We've just been through a full routine and discussed our favourite Inky List products to use in response to acne prone or breakout prone skin. Um, but now it's the really fun part 'cause this is where you guys at home can get involved.
Mm.
As I promised you earlier, we will be answering some more of your questions about skincare. So don't worry if you've missed the masterclass. We've got you. This is going to be all about you now. We're ready to delve in with your questions. Um, so here we go. Let's have a look. So this is a question from Kathy. Hey Kathy. I get acne clusters of acne on my chin. What causes this? Great question. What do you think, Dr. Zion?
So, I don't want to generalize acne, but we do often think about acne around the jaw area to be perhaps related with hormonal imbalances at times. And so, if by any chance, talk to your doctor and see if there's other categories that you may meet, because if by any chance it is hormonal, topicals may help you get to like maybe 60% of your what you want, but that last
Mm,
40% may need to come from a prescription strength medication, whether that be
mm.
oral contraceptives or even RX antibiotic creams. And so I will say that, but honestly, because where it is doesn't mean that it's treated differently, right? All the ingredients we talked about today can be helpful for acne on your chin versus your forehead versus even, I would say, your body.
Yeah, that is so true. And like the succinic acid, like you can absolutely look to be treating certain areas with this. We actually have we've said that you can actually use it on your back. Sometimes if you get like on your body like a blemish, you can absolutely put the succinic acid on that as well.
Mhm.
That's a really good question, Kathy. Let's see who we've got next. So we've got Lilita, and they have said, I have oily skin. Which products would help? Really good question. Because I'm sure that you're kind of thinking, oh, I don't want to use too many products. My skin's oily. But as we were saying earlier, sometimes, well, always actually, oily skin does also benefit from moisture. So tell us a little bit more about that, Dr. Sion.
Yeah, I would say if you have oily skin and we're talking about acne, you're kind of the lucky ones. I think it's worse for those who have dry skin like me
And
with
me.
acne because it's this battle of dry acne, dry irritating
Mm,
products. So for oily skin, ingredients really remain the same. The salicylic acid we talked about, the succinic acid, sulfur that we also spoke about. I think the ingredient we didn't really talk about today that I think would be a whole new topic in itself would be retinol.
mm,
Retinol is really great for lots of different things, including acne, but also wrinkles, texture, tones, hyperpigmentation. Um, and so, because you have oily skin, you're going to be able to tolerate some of these potencies a lot better.
that's really, really good to know. And we actually, because
Yeah.
we've got some more masterclass coming up as well, guys. I'm sure retinol will be part of that at some point. If you want to learn more about that, you can sign up for another one of the masks because again, it is a really good product. So let's see who we've got next. So we've got Mariana Silva. Hi,
Mhm.
Mariana. They have said hormonal acne, how to make it disappear. Good question. That's a big one. What do you think, Dr. Saya?
Oh my goodness. If there is a miracle serum or a medication that I can tell you that I can make it disappear, I would know. We would all know about it, right?
We would all, yeah,
Unfortunately,
all be.
hormonal acne is so difficult. I always tell my patients this is one of the most common things I see my patients for, and I always say depending on the severity, like I said, you may need to get on oral, contraceptives or even other medications such as spironolactone and things to help kind of
Mhm,
control that oil balance and your hormones to keep it at bay. But really, if you are not trying to go to medications, a good regimen to go into is about 1 week. Make sure you're tracking your cycles. There's a lot of apps out there now that you can I'm sorry, Tom, you're like, "I don't really need to hear all this," but
No, I'm loving this. I'm
girls,
absorbing it
there
like a
are
sponge.
there are apps out there where you can, track your menstrual cycle, and it kind of tells you when it's coming, your next one. About 7 days before that, start incorporating a little stronger, um, regimen, whether it be salicylic acid, maybe a little bit of benzoyl
Mm.
peroxide as well. Starting out, this is a little bit harder because you start craving you start craving hyperglycemic foods around this time, but kind of trying to avoid some of that food as well that really flares up that acne, and then kind of finish it out as your menstrual cycle is ending. That really, really helps with hormonal acne.
I'm really, really glad that you asked this question, actually, Mariana, because it's something that we get asked a lot. And I think I've learned some stuff there myself, actually. So thank you, Dr. Zion, because that's
Yeah.
a question that is always, it's a big one, really big question. So let's see who we've got next. Okay, so Charlie Hamnet, hi Charlie, says, what is the fastest way to get rid of individual blemishes? Oh,
Mm,
individual blemishes.
yeah.
So what do you think? I'm gonna hand over to you again, Dr. Zion.
Yeah, I think for that, it would be spot treatment. Spot
Hmm.
treatment and localized treatment is really the easiest and the fastest way to get rid of it. Whenever I use salicylic acid, BHA or succinic acid and around the area, and you're spot treating it, make sure you are still hitting the area kind of around the blemish. So, not just the blemish itself, but a little bit of the area surrounding it, just because there are pores underneath that are probably ready to kind of flare up at some point too. So,
That's
I
a really
always
good
say draw
tip.
a little bit of a bigger circle. Yeah.
That's a
And
really good
then
tip because sometimes you sort of just dab it on and that's it, but you want to be focusing on around the
exactly,
outside.
exactly,
Ah.
and I do this because, I'm a picker, and even though I tell everyone not to pick, you just can't help yourself,
I love how
and
honest you are. I love that so much that you're like, I do
y
it too.
yeah, and so, I put a acne patch on, during the day, and you can't physically pick. It helps, those patches help too, um,
Mm.
but yeah, and I guess the fastest way would be to probably go see a doctor and, you can get a shot, but not everyone has access to that. That's expensive. So
And you could absolutely just do this, the succinic acid blemish
exactly.
treatment,
Shoot
and
it
you
up
can do
with
this
this.
up to 3 times a day, Charlie. So I think this is a good one for you to have a little look at, to see what you think.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we've got. Hey, so Kazakai, I hope I said that right, Rebecca. Hello. If I am using the salicylic acid cleanser, do I need to use BHA too? Good question. So as you might have seen earlier, if you were here, the salicylic acid cleanser is actually a really good one because it's going to be rinsed off the skin because it's in cleanser form. You can actually follow with the BHA afterwards. Would you agree, Dr. Zion, with that
Yeah, if
one?
you can tolerate it, you can definitely do that. If not, you could
Mm,
split it into an AM, PM routine if you wanted to. Salicylic acid and BHA work very, very similarly in the fact
mm,
that I would just say salicylic acid cleanser is a type that you're rinsing off versus BHA acts more like that toner type where it's a leave-on product. So totally can, use it together in a routine if you can tolerate it. If not, just split it,
love that. So,
just
Kazaki, what you could do
alternating.
is you could try it. You could maybe alternate, see how you get on,
Mhm.
and then you can sort of decide. It depends on if your skin is sensitive. You can kind of decide what you feel is best. Um, but yeah, really good question. So we've got time for one more question. Let's bring it up now. So Alice Young has said, my routine is making me break out. What should I do?
Mm,
Um, Good question. Sometimes I find if I start using like a full new routine, that can happen to me too. So why is
mhm.
that, Dr. Zion? What's happening to us?
It could be many different things. It could be that A, you may be allergic. to one of the ingredients that are in there, or it could be it could be your body telling you that, hey, this is purging, right?
Mm,
Which often, if, for example, retinol purging that we often talk about, it's actually all that because it increases cellular turnover, it's bringing up all that buildup at once. So then you're kind of
mm,
breaking out all of a sudden. And we try to say, no need to stop retinol right away if you think this could be part of that retinoid dermatitis or that purging. Just try to slow it down.
okay.
Um, it could
That makes
be,
sense. That makes
yeah,
sense because it can almost be that it's kind of bringing everything to the surface in like one kind of epic
ex-
breakout. So if you kind of slow
yes,
things
the epic
down,
breakout. Yep.
and yeah, if you slow things down,
Yeah.
yeah, I see. Okay.
Yeah. And my last thing that I always say too is I am guilty of this. A lot of us are over exfoliating. Um, I
Mhm,
think we have made exfoliation to be such a regular thing to the point that people feel like it needs to be done daily. But
mhm,
depending on your skin type, you really may not need it daily. You might even need it weekly, 2 to 4 times a week, depending on your skin type. So, that could be your skin just telling you, hey, I'm extremely angry with you. I'm very irritated. Please stop putting irritants on my face. And if that's the
mhm.
case, I usually tell my patients to, my patients to,
Us.
completely stop stop all actives. Concentrate on moisturization, especially, moisturizer that contains glycerin, like
Mhm.
maybe a heavier, thicker cream with ceramides, maybe even using Vaseline, like petroleum, to like really seal in some of that moisture to heal before you can, start again.
Oh, that's really, really interesting to almost give you that to look after your skin barrier, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's really interesting. Dr. Zion, thank you so much. Honestly, I'm such a huge fan of yours, and I'm sure there's lots of other people here that are like you. You say it in such a clear and genuine way. All of the information that you give is so genuine, and I love it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for joining us. It was so much fun talking to you,
Yeah,
um, and we hope that we can see you again soon,
yeah, for sure. Thank
which would be really,
you.
really good.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, Dr. Zion. Thank you so much. So, everyone, that is actually the end of the Inky List Masterclass. Thank you so much for sharing this experience with us. It was the first one, and you were a part of it. You've been an absolutely wonderful audience. Amazing questions. I feel like we've really delved deep to find out what we want. Um, please have a look on our website. You can shop all the products that we've been through tonight on the Inky List website. Um, and you can have a really close look at kind of what we've had, what we've used, etc., which was the salicylic acid cleanser, the hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, the beta hydroxy acid, the succinic acid blemish treatment, and the vitamin BCE moisturizer. Wow, how do I remember all of that? Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure that you join in for our next masterclass, which is actually coming up very, very soon. I know that some of you have already signed up for that already. But thanks again for joining, and we will see you again soon. Goodbye.